At 49, I thought I'd finally found the love I'd been waiting for. But one quiet evening, a sound from upstairs revealed the truth. My charming husband and his daughter weren't who they claimed to be. Get a cup of coffee and settle down, because this story is inspiring from start to finish. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories. At 49, I thought my life had finally come together. After years of focusing on my career and building my business empire, I had everything except someone to share it with. Then I met Aiden. He was charming in a way that felt honest, not flashy. With his warm brown eyes and easy smile, he made me feel seen. We met at a fundraiser, and our conversation flowed like we'd known each other forever. "I'm not much for these events," Aiden had said, sipping his wine. "But it was Emily's idea. She says I need to get out more." "Emily?" I asked. "My daughter. She's 18. It's been just the two of us since my wife passed. She's been my rock." Something in his voice, the way it softened when he said her name, tugged at my heart. Aiden swept me off my feet. He sent flowers to my office, planned quiet dinners, and always listened when I needed to vent about work. "You make me feel like a teenager," I told him one evening. "Well, you make me feel alive again," he replied, taking my hand. When he introduced me to Emily, I was nervous. I didn't know how a teenage daughter would react to her father dating. But Emily was polite, almost shy. "It's nice to meet you," she said, her voice soft. "Dad talks about you all the time." She had a delicate, almost fragile look. Her big eyes that seemed too old for her age, like her mother's passing, made her lose her childish naivete. "I've heard a lot about you too," I said, trying to break the ice. "All good things, of course." She smiled faintly. "He's just happy. I haven't seen him like this in years." Over the months, I grew close to both Aiden and Emily. Aiden was kind, dependable, and attentive. And Emily? She was reserved but sweet. She'd join us for family dinners, but she mostly kept to herself, studying or reading. One evening, Aiden mentioned they were having trouble with their house. "The roof needs repairs," he explained. "It's been one thing after another since Liz passed. I'm starting to feel like I'm cursed. Why don't you both stay with me while it's fixed?" I offered. Aiden hesitated. "Are you sure? That's a big step." "Of course," I said. "You're practically family already." They moved in a week later. Eventually, after 2 months of living together, we realized we couldn't wait to be together forever and got married at 1st. My marriage seemed perfect. Aiden cooked breakfast most mornings, and Emily would shyly thank me when I left snacks on the counter for her or brought her little gifts. But there were little things about Emily that I couldn't quite figure out. She didn't seem to have many friends, and when I asked about school, she'd give vague answers. "It's just boring stuff," she'd say. "You wouldn't want to hear about it." "She's always been private," Aiden explained when I brought it up. "It's her way of coping, I think." Still, something felt off. I dismissed it, telling myself I was overthinking. They'd been through a lot. It wasn't my place to judge. Then came that evening. I'd planned a surprise for Aiden, a special dinner to celebrate our first year together. Leaving work early, I let myself in and noticed the house was quieter than usual. Then I heard laughter. Soft conspiratorial.it was coming from upstairs. As I climbed the stairs, I heard the almost mocking laughter again. My chest tightened with unease. When I reached the bedroom, the door was slightly ajar. Through the crack, I saw Aiden and Emily sitting on the BED. Jewelry box was open between them, and one of my diamond necklaces glinted in Emily's hands. Around them, my things were scattered. Cash, watches, and small valuables I hadn't even realized were missing. First, I froze. Were they tidying up? Planning a surprise? I tried to make sense of it, but something about the scene felt wrong. Emily's bag sat open, half full with what looked like my belongings. "Careful," Aiden said, his tone low. Don't forget the bottom drawer. There's more in there. Emily laughed softly. I know. This is way easier than the last time. My heart plummeted. The last time? I backed away slowly, my breath caught in my throat. They hadn't seen me, and I wasn't about to let them know I was there. Quietly, I crept down the stairs, my mind racing. Once I was safely in the living room, I grabbed my phone and activated the security system. With a few taps, I locked the bedroom door. Trapping them inside, I called Sarah, my detective friend, my hands shaking as I explained what I'd seen. They're in my bedroom, packing my valuables, I whispered. I locked them in with my security system. Sarah, I think they're stealing from me. Stay calm, she said, her voice firm. Call the police right now. I'll head over and meet you there. When I hung up, I dialed 911, my voice trembling as I explained the situation. The dispatcher assured me officers were on their way. From my phone, I pulled up the security camera feed of the bedroom. Aiden was yanking at the door handle, his face tense. Emily paced the room, gesturing wildly. What the hell is going on? Emily snapped. The door's locked. Aiden barked. I don't know how, but she must have done this. Emily's voice rose. You said she wouldn't catch on. This was supposed to be easy. I clenched my fists, anger and betrayal simmering beneath the surface. They'd played me for a fool, but their little game was over. When the police arrived, I let them in and directed them to the bedroom. 2 officers went upstairs while I stood in the foyer with Sarah, my legs trembling. Minutes later, Aiden and Emily were brought downstairs, their hands cuffed behind their backs. Aiden's face was unreadable, but Emily glared at me with thinly veiled hatred. What's the meaning of this? Aiden asked, his voice sharp but measured. You tell me, I said coldly, crossing my arms. One of the officers held up Emily's bag. We found these, he said, showing the cash, jewelry, and watches inside. Care to explain? Emily's facade cracked first. Phoenix, we were going to take them, okay? She snapped. But it's not like she even notices half this stuff. Emily, Aiden hissed, but it was too late. Emily, the officer said, his voice steady despite the storm inside. That's funny, considering your real name isn't even Emily. I stared at them in shock. How do you know that? They are thieves. Conartis. Did this in several states and escaped every time. Well, until they ran into you, ma'am. I nodded. We found multiple IDs in their belongings. Names don't match. And her date of birth doesn't make her 18. She's 32. The room spun for a moment. 32. Aiden had told me she was just a teenager. My skin prickled with disgust. The officers pressed Aiden for more information, and under pressure, he finally broke. It's not what you think, he muttered, avoiding my eyes. We needed the money. You don't understand. I don't understand. I interrupted, my voice rising. I welcomed you into my home. I trusted you. And all this time, you've been lying to me? Sarah stepped in, her expression grim. We've seen cases like this before. They pose as a family, target someone wealthy, and rob them blind. They're good at it, one of the officers added. Too good. We'll need to look through the evidence, but there's already enough here to charge them. As the police led Aiden and Emily to the door, Aiden turned back to me, his mask of charm completely gone. You're going to regret this, he said, his voice cold. I stared him down, refusing to flinch. No, Aiden, you are. Emily, now tearful, looked back at me. We didn't mean to hurt you, she mumbled. I didn't respond. I wasn't going to waste another ounce of emotion on them. That night, after the house was quiet again, I sat alone in the living room. The weight of what had happened settled over me like a heavy blanket. They deceived me so thoroughly, playing on my need for love and connection. For days, I replayed the little moments I'd overlooked. Emily's vague answers, Aiden's reluctance to share details about his past, the way they always seem to know exactly what to say. Sarah came by later that week. "You're not the first person they've targeted," she said, "and you wouldn't have been the last. But you stopped them. That's what matters." She was right, but it didn't make the betrayal hurt any less. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that trust is a dangerous gift. I gave mine too easily, and it nearly cost me everything. Still, I refuse to let them define my future. They may have stolen my time and my trust, but they couldn't steal my strength.